Here's what Democratic leaders should be doing. They should be tying the release of the Epstein files to avoiding a government shutdown. They should be tying those two things together, saying to Trump and Republicans, we will not be compliant in avoiding a government shutdown unless you release the Epstein files. Make our compliance contingent upon releasing the Epstein files. Because in case you haven't noticed, Democratic leaders, we are late in the game. It is time to make some moves. Donald Trump's weakness, his Achilles heel, is the Epstein files. That man can spin almost anything. He spun January 6th. He spun the Mueller report. He is spinning bowing to Russia as strength, but he cannot seem to spin the Epstein files. He campaigned on releasing them. He had his influencers say they were released, but they weren't released. Then he said they didn't exist. Then he said that only private innocent people were in the files. Then he said that nobody's in the files. He knows how damaging those files can be. That is his weakness point. We must push there. And for once, Democrats, draw a line in the sand and stand up with your spine and force the issue. What do you have to lose? Donald Trump is immolating the American Constitution and the American experiment. Now is the time to put it on the line.
Hello my people, welcome back to the channel. Today news is really wild. Imagine guys, the Utah governor just said that the quiet part out loud and now white America is dragging him. Imagine guys, this is very tragic. People are saying he should apologize or even resign. After watching all the clips, I have to give you my full reaction because this is bigger than just one moment. Exactly. Guys, Kendry, let's watch the video. I will be back in a while.
I understand it now. I get it. Y'all can't stand the mirror that's been put in front of your face. All of the shit that y'all have been serving for the last few decades now against minority communities. Y'all can't stand having to look at it when it affects you. See, that's the thing. I finally get it. It took me a lot of time because I'm thinking, why are people reacting so violently to this? And it reminds me of the very first event that I had when I was escaping the alt-right pipeline and changing my mindset of that. Was that anger and violence. Because see, here's the thing. And here's the thing you really don't understand because you refuse to put yourself in other people's shoes and actually be empathetic to other people's situations. How do y'all think the black community has felt for the last 5 years since George Floyd has died? All the memes y'all shared about that. How do you think they felt about the memes about Breonna Taylor, you know, the woman who was gunned down in her sleep during a no-knock raid? How do you think the Latino community has felt for the last 8 months with y'all cheering Trump for his deportation efforts and buying merch for Alligator Alcatraz and egging it on that human suffering is a great thing for this country? How do you think the gay community felt with all the jokes y'all made about the Pulse nightclub shooting a few years back in Orlando that killed 50 plus people in a predominantly gay club? You are truly experiencing for the first time how it tastes. The hatred y'all have been spilling out of your guts for years finally comes back at you. And that's the thing you don't like. But you know what? The funny thing about all of it is, where's the black community calling for war with how you have treated them? Where's the Latino community going up in arms and calling for war? And no, fighting off ICE and protesting, that is not war. That is civil disobedience, and that is our First Amendment right. But calling for the bloodshed of innocent civilians because they make jokes about a dead man who spent his entire political career actively making these communities worse with his rhetoric and their situations worse? Where's their calls for war? See, you're just now kind of coming out of the illusion that your hatred and bigotry that you claim is free speech is free of consequences from the actions of what you just said. Because you only ever say it online. Because when you do say it to someone's face, you almost always outnumber them 5-1. You almost always catch people in situations where they're at a disadvantage, so when you say these things, you're protected. But now with Charlie, in his situation, you're having to come to reality for the first time of the vile and awful things that you believe in, and you don't like it. You're having to eat that. You're having to stare it in the face, and what's your first response? To be violent and angry towards innocent people. because you scream that everyone's entitled to their opinion. You love dark humor, but the second you see people making jokes about Charlie Kirk being gone, oh, that's too far? Oh, that's too far. The Halloween costumes of George Floyd being strangled to death. Oh, let's not even glaze over the fact that I'm seeing a bunch of posts going, congratulations, George Floyd, for being 5 years sober, because he's dead. But now you want us to care. You're now noticing just how little actual emotion, like how little actual empathy and sympathy exist amongst your own ranks. Because the funniest thing about this entire situation is the fact that it was one of your own that killed him. It was a 22-year-old white kid from Utah who came from a conservative GOP family that loved Trump. And he was a registered Republican. So if you really, really, really think you want war or bloodshed with innocent people, how about you look in a mirror, and why don't you sit there for a few days and actually digest and break down your beliefs? Because I'm sure it's screaming at you from the inside. I remember feeling that a lot whenever I was younger in the alt-right, was there's this interior voice that's screaming that the things you are saying and doing are wrong, but you don't care because it's getting you brownie points with the people around you because you've surrounded yourself with hateful people. How about you actually think for a few days on your politics and your beliefs? Because at the moment, y'all are disgusting. Y'all call us disgusting for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. We think you're disgusting because really Charlie Kirk is no different than any child that has been shot in a school for the last fucking 2 decades. The things we have been trying to prevent, the things we've been trying to stop, the pain that these incidents cause families, yeah, how about you think about which side you've been fighting on that for a while?
Fucking well. What do you know? It looks like they caught the Charlie Kirk shooter suspect. And who could have guessed that he would be a Republican-raised Mormon incel who went as Donald Trump for Halloween and also carved on the bullets or bullet casings, I'm not sure exactly which, carved on them the message, if you're seeing this, you're gay. LMAO. This is the mastermind we're working with here. And not to fan the flames of conspiracy theories, but I know you're all seeing them, and I know you know which ones I'm talking about. But the fact that there was a very swift, coordinated response from Republican politicians, policymakers, influencers, normies, everyone really, to get out there first and say that this was a Democrat. What are they going to say now? And I mean, obviously this is not our first rodeo. We know that they're not going to concede or admit that they were wrong. They're just going to double down or pivot completely away from it and hope that everyone forgets. And also, I do think it's very important to say that when I say they caught him, I do not mean the FBI. I do not mean Kash Patel, because this kid's dad turned him in after he confessed, presumably guilty conscience or something. And as a matter of fact, Kash Patel actually arrested the wrong person, announced that he arrested that person incorrectly, and had to release him. And after all the effort, all the manpower, all the resources they put into this, they couldn't even find him. His dad turned him in. And of course, we may likely never know the answer to this question, but it really makes you think. Were they ever really intending on finding him? Or was Republicans' vested interest in this no longer there anymore? Was the task at hand already complete? Makes you think, makes you think. Comment below. What do you think? Theoretically, of course. And while I have you, be sure, like, repost, share with a friend, because they got him, guys, and it was exactly who we thought it was. And be sure to follow me for more updates like this, because there's gonna be more.
So I don't know if any of you watched the press conference today. I want to talk about what the governor of Utah said, which was that he really hoped that it wasn't someone from his state. He went on to say that he hoped it was someone from another state. He hoped it was someone from another country. Now, then he goes on to say that the division in the politics needs to stop. He in no way gave a speech today to me that would say, oh, he wants it to stop. I thought my governor was bad. Ugh. Tate Reeves, geez. I thought he was radicalized. when you think about the stuff that he was saying, the governor, his mind shows to me that he is more focused on blaming actual problems here in America on homegrown soil. They are so much more focused on finding other reasons to blame stuff on, just like a narcissist, right? When they know that there is really a problem, they are so much more focused on finding other reasons to excuse the problem. It's a homegrown terroristic act, just like all of the other school shootings. And that's the issue that needs to be fixed. It's not looking for people outside of your state or out of the country. You know, this is here. This is at home. This is something that needs to be addressed again. And one last thing I want to talk about. I looked at a lot of the comments that were going on during that live, and oh my God, so many threats on left-leaning.
Anyways, guys, after seeing all the clips, I can honestly say this. He really didn't think before speaking. Sometimes readers forget that words matter. And one is out there, you can take it back exactly. That's why the backlash is so heavily now. And the quiet part aloud. What he said shows what many readers think in private, but don't want people to hear exactly. When mask comes off, the truth shows. And that's why people are so angry. Imagine, guys, I'm telling you. It confirms what they already suspected and why people are dragging him. Imagine, this is very, very unbelievable, guys. And white America and his own base is now dragging him because they feel exposed. They feel like he embraced them. It's not just about his words. It's all about the truth. He let slip and now they are demanding accountability. Imagine. This is very, very tragic. Apologize and resign. People are split. Some say he should apologize, but others says that's not enough. Imagine, guys. He should resign. And why? Because once a reader says something this loud, trust is broken. This is truly understandable. And readership is built on trust. This is very, very understandable. Governors regret. You can see the regret on his faces after reaction. But regret after exposure doesn't mean much. Perfect. The real question is this. Does he truly believe what he said? Very interesting question, guys. Is he only sorry that people had it? Very another question. Big message. This is not just about Utah. It's all about politics in America. Many readers hide behind nice speeches, but when the truth slips out, we finally see what they really think. And that's why this story is hitting so hard. Exactly. Here there is reason for readers. Reason is simple. If you don't respect the people, people will check you. And once people lose faith in you, no apology can fully fix it. Exactly. So, at the end of the day, guys, the Utah governor is in the tough spot. White America is dragging him and pressure is real. Will he apologize? Very good question. Will he resign to the power? Or will he try to ride this storm out? Whatever happened, this moment will follow him for the rest of his career. Exactly. What do you think, guys? What's on your mind, guys? Should he apologize or should he resign? Drop your thoughts in the comment and don't forget to hit subscribe button. Guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.